Hi, my name is Ivan. I'm an Ielts teacher at ETEST and an ex-Ielts examiner. Today, I want to give you some advice for the Ielts writing test. I want to talk about some useful grammatical structures that will help to improve your band score for grammatical range and accuracy. We will explore some common mistakes people often make and how to fix them. In this episode, we're going to take a look at pronouns that should not be used, the lack of modal verbs, the passive, punctuation in compound sentences, and relative pronouns and defining clauses. Let's begin with pronouns that we should not use in Ielts. They are I, me, we, us, and you. Remember that in academic writing, we have to use an impersonal style, so these personal pronouns are not appropriate for an academic essay.
In my opinion, I think that providing poor people with free mobile phones and internet service to find jobs has some benefits. Indeed, smartphones can be useful because you can search for opening opportunities more easily online. In addition, it can give us a way to keep up to date with current news.
It is believed that providing poor people with free mobile phones and internet service to find jobs has some benefits. Indeed, smartphones can be useful because they can search for opening opportunities more easily online. In addition, it can give them a way to keep up to date with current news. As you can see, we can use other vocab like they, them, people, or individuals to replace the words we shouldn't use. Next, let's take a look at the lack of modal verbs. We're going to use the same example. Here, the student only used has. He is saying smartphones have benefits, but we don't know that for sure. Even though Ielts doesn't ask you to provide evidence, doesn't mean we can claim everything with certainty. So in this particular example, the student should use can, a modal verb to reduce this certainty, as it makes more sense since this is just a belief. Using modal verbs can help improve the meaning of a sentence and make it more fluent. Be sure to use words like will, may, can, should, and so on. Now let's go to passive voice. There is nothing wrong with a sentence like this, but in Ielts, a passive voice is always more preferred. Here, we have switched an active sentence to a passive one. Of course, this grammatical structure shouldn't be overdone throughout an entire essay. In the fourth mistake, we're going to take a look at how people often miss the punctuation in these types of sentences. In order to get good grades, you must always be careful with punctuation in cause and effect structures. There is now a comma that separates the dependent clause and the independent clause after it. It allows readers to see the structure more clearly and correctly. Be careful with these punctuations if you don't want to lose marks. Last but not least, let's take a look at a more advanced structure: relative pronoun and defining clause. Now this sentence could look normal at first, but let's dig deeper to see what is wrong here. The word who should be put between people and oppose because it is a relative pronoun that leads to a defining clause from oppose to university. This clause helps explain the action or thinking of the people in the independent clause, which is there are some people. You should always use appropriate relative pronouns to support the nouns in your sentences. For example, who is for humans and that is for everything. Of course, this is a very complex grammatical structure that needs to be further explained in a future video. This should wrap up our content for today. See you in the next one and stay tuned.